Welcome to Get Fitness Success, where we learn about our body, mind, and spirit. This video does not replace expert medical advice. Ask a doctor if you have any questions. Please subscribe, like, and comment. I appreciate your support. This video is a collection of Abraham Hicks quotes about health and well-being you can use as a daily affirmations guided meditation. Let's begin. Most people have no idea of the power of their thoughts. They do not realize that as they continue to find things to complain about, they disallow their own physical well-being. Many do not realize that before they were complaining about an aching body or a chronic disease, they were complaining about many other things first. It does not matter if the object of your complaint is about someone you are angry with, someone who has betrayed you, behavior in others that you believe is wrong, or something wrong with your own physical body. Complaining is complaining, and it disallows recovery. If you are not feeling good or looking the way you want to look, it has a way of reflecting out into all other aspects of your life experience. And it is for that reason that we want to emphasize the value in bringing your physical body into balance and comfort and well-being. There is nothing in the universe that responds faster to your thoughts than your own physical body. And so aligned thoughts bring a quick response and obvious results. You are never more clear about wanting to be healthy and to feel good than when you are sick and feeling bad. And so the experience of being sick is a powerful launching pad for the asking of wellness. That which is like unto itself is drawn, so tell the story you want to live and you will eventually live it. There is no physical body, no matter what the state of decline, no matter what the conditions, that cannot achieve an improved condition. Nothing else in your experience responds as quickly as your own physical body to your patterns of thought. In very simple terms, in order to be at your maximum state of health and well-being, you must be in vibrational alignment with your inner being. And in order to do that, you must be aware of emotions or feelings. When your thoughts are chronically good feeling, your physical body will thrive. Whether the trauma to your body seemed to come suddenly as a result of an accident or whether it came from a disease such as cancer, you have created the situation through your thought, and the healing will come through your thought as well. Chronic thoughts of ease promote wellness, while chronic stressful or resentful or hateful or fearful thoughts promote disease. But whether the result shows up suddenly or more slowly, whatever you are living always matches the balance of your thoughts. It is much easier to achieve great health from moderate health than to achieve great health from poor health. However, you can get to wherever you want to be from wherever you are if you are able to distract your attention from the unwanted aspects of your life and focus upon aspects that are more pleasing. It really is only a matter of focus. Most people spend very little time basking in appreciation for the wellness they are currently experiencing, but instead they wait until they are sick and then turn their attention to recovery. Good feeling thoughts produce and sustain physical well-being. You live in very busy times, and you find many things to fuss and worry about, and in doing so, you hold yourself out of alignment, and disease is the result. And then you focus upon the disease and perpetuate more disease. But you can break the cycle at any time. You do not have to wait for your society to understand in order to achieve wonderful physical wellness yourself. Your natural state is one of wellness. Your body is made up of intelligent cells that are always bringing themselves into balance. And the better you feel, the less you are vibrationally interfering with the cellular rebalancing. If you are focused upon things that are bothering you, the cells of your body are hindered in their natural balancing process. And once an illness has been diagnosed and you then turn your attention to that illness, the hindering is greater still, since the cells of your body know what to do to come into balance. If you can find a way of focusing your attention upon good feeling thoughts, you will stop your negative interference and your recovery will come. No matter what the disease is, and no matter how much it has progressed, the question is, can you direct your thoughts positively regardless of the condition? It is a wonderful thing to see the results of your thoughts out in the open in an obvious fashion. And just as your wound or sickness is evidence of misalignment, your healing or wellness is evidence of alignment. Your tendency toward wellness is much stronger than your tendency for illness. And that is the reason that even with some negative thinking, most of you do remain mostly well. A continual searching for things wrong with your body will, in time, produce evidence of something wrong. Not because it was lurking there all along and you finally probed long enough to find it, but because repeated thought eventually creates its equivalent. Your physical well-being, like everything else, is profoundly affected by the beliefs that you hold. Older people often do experience more illness and less vitality, but the reason for the decline of people as they get older is not because their physical bodies are programmed to break down over time, but because the longer they live, the more they find to fuss and worry about, causing resistance to their natural stream of well-being. Illness is about resistance, not about age. Preventive wellness is far easier to accomplish than corrective wellness. But in either case, improved feeling thoughts of greater and greater relief, are the key. Even in situations where a lot of pain is being experienced, there are times of greater and lesser discomfort. Choose the best feeling times from the range you are experiencing to find positive aspects, and to choose better feeling thoughts. And as you continue to reach for thoughts that bring greater emotional relief, that positive leaning will eventually bring you back to well-being. Every time. No exceptions. At the core of that which you are is wellness and well-being. And if you are experiencing anything less than that, there is resistance present within your vibration. Your natural state is one of wellness, one of absolute health, one of perfect bodily conditions, and if you are experiencing anything other than that, it is only because the balance of thought within you is toward the lack of what you want instead of what you do want. It is your resistance that causes an illness in the first place. And it is your resistance to illness that holds it to you once it is there. It is not natural for you to be sick. And it is not natural for you to harbor negative emotion. For, at your core, you are like your inner being, you are well. And you feel very, very good. Just as the balance of your thought now is equaling what you are living. The balance of thought that you held prior to your birth is also what has equaled what you are living. But you must understand that there are those who have come forth deliberately wanting physical disability because they wanted the benefit that they knew would come from it. They were wanting to add some balance to their perspective. Most who are attracting less than wellness are doing so by default. That which you believe has everything to do with what you allow in your experience. If you have been convinced that something is not curable, that it is fatal, and then you are told that you have it, usually your belief will be that you will not survive. And you will not. Your survival has nothing to do with the disease and everything to do with your thoughts. And so, if you say to yourself, that may be true for others, but it is not so for me, for I am the creator of my experience, and I choose recovery, not death. At this time. You can recover. Usually, once people have focused upon problems and such enough that they have disallowed their well-being and they are seriously ill, then they turn their undivided attention to the illness, thus perpetuating it even more. There is no condition from which you cannot recover, but it is much easier if you catch it in the early, subtle states. Sometimes being sick provides an escape from something else that you do not want to do. And so, in your environment, there is much allowing of sickness for the sake of not having to do something else. But when you begin playing that sort of game with self, you are opening the door to greater and greater and greater sickness. When medicine and science stop looking for cures and begin to look for vibrational causes or imbalances, they will see a much higher rate of recovery. If you have a strong desire for recovery, and the doctors are giving you no hope, it is logical that you would turn to alternative approaches where hope is not only allowed but encouraged, for there is much evidence to show that people can recover from supposedly incurable diseases. Let your medical community assist you in your recovery. But do not ask them to do the impossible. Do not ask them to give you a cure to compensate for your misalignment of energy. One who never experiences negativity will not be sick. What appears to be an inherited tendency is usually the law of attraction's response to the thoughts that you learn from your parents. However, the cells of your body are thinking mechanisms, also, and your cells, like you, can learn vibration from those around them. The cells of your body cannot develop negative tendencies that lead to disease when you are in alignment with your source. Your cells can only get out of alignment when you are. Your body is an extension of your thought. Your contagious or inherited negative symptoms are supported by your negative thought and could not occur in the presence of chronically positive thoughts no matter diseases had been experienced by your parents. The only reason that some diseases seem stubborn and unchangeable is because your thoughts are often stubborn and unchanging. Your physical wellness is affected much more by your vibrational balance than it is by the things that you put into your body. People often refer to that state of being tired or listless as a state of low energy. And that is really a good way of saying it. While you cannot cut yourself off from your energy source, when you offer thoughts that contradict that source, your resulting feeling is one of resistance or low energy. Illness exists when you disregard the early, subtle signs of misalignment that come in the form of emotion. If you feel negative emotion and you do not change the thought to relieve the discomfort of the negative emotion, it always gets bigger, until eventually the negative emotion becomes physical sensation, then physical deterioration. Illness is nothing more than a physical indicator of energy out of balance. You have potential for every illness in your body right now. And you have potential for a perfect state of health in your body right now. And you will solicit one or the other, or a mixture, depending upon your balance of thought. People tend to think that illnesses are progressive. Something goes wrong, and then the sickness just becomes more and more and more. That is not what is happening. What is happening is, the sickness calls attention to something that causes more contradiction or more resistance in the frequency. It is just in the moment. You could be diagnosed with every deadly disease known to man, but you could be lying in your bed in a state of utter allowance, and allow the energy of source to flow through to the cells of your body, and you would have an instant healing. It is not about the body needing to rebuild. It's about opening the vibrational circuits. That is all that it is. The only reason medicine works at all. The disease gives you a rocket of desire beyond anything you've ever felt before. No matter what the disease is, having it makes you want something else. And so, right away that desire begins summoning resources in order to soothe whatever it is that you are not wanting, or to satisfy whatever it is that you are wanting. Then, what happens with the medicine is, you have a desire with a belief that doesn't match it. And then someone comes along with a bottle or a pill or a process, and they say to you, this will get you to where you want to be. And so, for a little while, your hope or your belief matches your desire, and the circuits are all open again. The physical characteristics of your body are not something for you to orchestrate from your place of physical consciousness. They are orchestrated from a cellular level. And the reason that you get so frustrated when you find yourself out of balance is that you're not the orchestrator of it. And there are so many opinions about what you should be doing, or what you shouldn't be doing, when the truth of it is, it's not your job to maintain the cellular balance of your body. The cells will do it. Your job is to get happy and get out of the way. If someone were to say, well, captain of your ship, what do you do to keep your body well? If you are a very wise conscious creator, you would say, well, I delegated that to the cells of my body who are much better at it than I am, who know exactly what to do. And I keep my nose out of that business by looking for as many blissful, delightful, happy, good-feeling things to think of in a day as I possibly can. So I make sure that I'm out of their way. They are, by vibrational nature, very positive little beings. Like the clam, they are happy. If I will stay in my place of happiness, then I will allow them to attract unto the cells of my body exactly what they are needing. While it is obvious that a good-feeling body makes for a more pleasant physical experience, we want you to understand that finding pleasant things to focus upon also makes for a good-feeling body. Any illness, or departure from physical well-being, begins at a cellular level, but the overwhelming propensity of your cells is that of thriving. All day, every day, your cells are reclaiming balance at such refined and subtle levels that most people are completely unaware of the power and intelligence of their cellular bodies. Focusing upon good-feeling objects of attention is the most effective way of providing the optimum environment for allowing unhindered cellular communication and the ultimate thriving of your physical body. Relief always feels good, and there are many things of an action nature that can give you a feeling of relief. When you are thirsty, your body feels relief of something refreshing to drink. When you are hungry, it is a relief to eat something. When you are tired, it is a relief to rest. But if you wait until your body is completely dehydrated before you drink something or completely emaciated before you eat something, your body can get far out of balance. While it is possible to eventually bring your body back to a state of well-being, it is much easier to maintain a healthy physical balance than to recover after losing it. In the same way that it is a good idea to drink when you feel the indication of thirst, and therefore maintain your well-being long before dehydration is experienced, it is equally important to change the thought and release resistance at the first indication of negative emotion. For while it is certainly possible to withstand negative emotion for long periods of time, it is not the optimal experience for the cells of your physical body. When you learn to release resistance in the early, subtle stages, your physical body must thrive. Thriving is what is natural for you. Your sophisticated physical body exists because of the intelligence of your cells, and the intelligence of your cells exists because of their connection to source energy. Dis-ease is the disallowing of ease. Dis-ease is the disallowing of well-being, which is always indicated, pre-disease, in the form of chronic negative emotion. In the absence of negative emotion, and therefore the allowance of complete alignment and communication with source energy, your physical body can reclaim its balance and recover from any imbalance. And once balance has resumed, it is easy to maintain with consistently good-feeling thoughts. In your world today, there are countless action remedies, medicines, surgeries, and exercises offered, but there are not enough actions in the world to compensate for vibrational resistance. Since every disease or unwanted condition exists because well-being is being disallowed, then, in the absence of that disallowance, well-being will return. It is a common thing for people to begin to lean in the direction of recovery, only to stop and take score too soon. And when they still find unwanted symptoms or conditions, they then offer resistant thought and lose the improved ground they have gained. With consistent releasing of resistance, all unwanted conditions will subside, returning you to your natural state of well-being. Your physical body is truly a reflection of the thoughts you think, but not only the thoughts you think about your physical body. And so, understanding the vibrational basis that supports your physical body is important to your maintaining of a healthy physical body. A regimen of physical actions is not enough. Your body is a pure reflection of the balance of the thoughts that you think. Most people have it backward. They want to feel good in their body so that they can be happy. But the secret is to be happy first, no matter the condition of your body, and then physical well-being must follow. Unwanted diseases or conditions do not suddenly leap into your body or experience, but come about gradually, over time, as a result of your steady deprivation of energy. If every day you are worried about something, or angry about something, you are depriving yourself of the alignment with source that keeps your physical body in balance and feeling good. Your physical body is the truest reflection of the beliefs that you hold of anything in your experience. It is helpful to understand that a belief is only a thought that you continue to think. And since you do have control of the thoughts you think, you do have the ability to deliberately project thoughts that have a beneficial effect on your physical body. The cells are summoning and source is answering. And if that were all that was to this cellular community, these cells that know how to be well, if they somehow found themselves teetering on a little bit of imbalance, they would just make the correction automatically. They always do. And source would answer the corrected request, and the cell would right itself within the body. And a body of very well cells is a very well body. But there is another factor that affects the way the cells are able to receive what they're asking for. And that's the influence of the mind or the vibrational patterning, or the attitude or the mood of the human who is inhabiting the clump of cells. Treating the body really is about treating the mind. It is all psychosomatic. Every bit of it. No exceptions. Illness or pain is just an extension of negative emotion. When you are no longer feeling any resistance to it, it's a non-issue. The majority have been programmed from their past experience to expect physical decline. And while it is something they don't want, they are programmed to expect it. And so, they're going to get what they expect. It's not that what they expect is the reality that everyone lives, but that everyone lives the reality of what they expect. If you've watched this far, please like and subscribe. Now, go get fit.